Hello and welcome to Control-Delete Tutorials. My name is Jason, and in this first video that we're going to do for the Leafy tree demo, we're going to start off just with setting up our scene. So the first thing that we're going to do is I've got some image references here that I'm using, and I'm going to show how to set up these different references. Now, I've just went on to Google search and looked up leaf, autumn leaves. I'm going to use this just for getting different colors. Tree bark, and this one is Shutterstock, so somebody does own this. So what I'm going to show is how we can kind of manipulate and use parts of this maybe with another one so that we're not really just ripping off somebody's photo, because we don't want to do that. And then I've got this just kind of silhouetted tree branch, and we're going to use this for some of our smaller stems and branches. So I want to start off with this part first. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of rotate this image around. And I want all of my images for the stems and the leaves to be starting basically down at the bottom and working their way up. So what I'm going to do is just go through it, and I'm going to set a higher contrast for this. So I'll just do image adjust, and I'm going to go to my levels. And I'm just going to kind of bring these levels just so I really just have black and white for this image. I'll go a little bit this way here. Kind of like that. Also, I'm going to invert this, and this is going to be handy for when we are creating our alpha channel. So I'll just invert this, and I want to make sure that this is all the way black. So I'll just say image adjust, and we'll just make sure our levels are adjusted so we have either just black or white, and that just kind of gets me what I have there. I'm going to duplicate this by hitting Control J and then Control T so that I can just rotate this. I want to rotate this kind of straight up and down, and I'm kind of going to set it about there, and I can go ahead and I'm just going to drag in my rulers here just so I can get a center point of my images here. And I'm pretty close there. Let me just nudge that over right about there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of this other background here. I'll just drag this down to my trash can. And I'm going to just say select color range, and I'll select the white here and hit OK. I'm going to hit Control J, which will duplicate just the selection there. I'll go ahead and get rid of this layer. And I'm going to hit Control Shift and N, which will bring up a new layer. Let's call this black. I'll just drag that under my layer 2 here. This was my white. And we'll fill that in with black. Okay, now it looks just like what I had before, but now what I'm going to do is this is going to be my alpha channel, which I'm going to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and merge these two together. Control E, select both, and Control E. And I'm going to hit Control C to copy this layer. I'm going to go to Channels, and I'm going to say New Channel. And it's going to default this to the alpha channel. Okay. So that'll be my alpha. I'll select the alpha there and hit Control V. And that should paste. Let's try it again. Let's make sure we have our selection here. I don't think I had selected anything, so let's do a window selection there. Control C. Come back here to our alpha, Control V. There we go, and that's pasted that in. So anything that is black is going to be transparent, and anything that is white will be opaque. And just to make sure that this is all the way black, I want to make sure that if I do a eyedropper here, I should get all zeros here. So that's good. That's exactly what we want. I'll hit Control D to deselect there, and let's go back into my RGB mode here. Okay, so now it doesn't actually matter what I have in this part of the image. I want to have something that it's kind of resembles tree bark. So I'm just going to use one of my tree bark kind of images And I'm going to use this pretty much as is for right now. I'm just going to select some of this. I'll hit Control J, or Control C, sorry. I'll come back to my branch here with no color. Control V to paste that in. And I'll show you exactly what's happening here. So I'll just be using this, and what this is actually doing is it's not using this the way it is. Basically what's going to happen is the part that I have here, it's only going to show a little bit of this. So if I really want to show this, I could say select, load selection, based off of alpha channel. And then if I go back to this and I hit Control J, what we're really going to see here is this. So that'll be my branch for now. Doesn't look great, but this is going to be so small in our tree by itself that we're not really going to pay too much attention to any of this. I could lighten it up a little bit, but I'm not really that worried about this. In fact, what I might also do is I'm going to select just some of the darker color here. And I'll make a new layer. I'm just going to paste that color in. And I'm going to set this to like 50% opacity. Maybe even a little lower than that, 30. And I'll just merge this down. So it doesn't matter that I have any of this color here, because this is going to cut everything out. So anything that I see here, this dull color, is going to be cut out around here. And it'll just leave this kind of pattern for my branch. Yeah, and that's going to basically do it for the tree branch by itself. So I'll just go ahead and save this. And I will save it in our references here. And I will save a Photoshop version of this. And then I'll save a Targa. So I like Targa because it does save our alpha channel. And we want to make sure this is 32 bits per pixel. We could get into mathematical reasons of why we're doing 32 bits. Each color channel is 8 bits. We have 4 of them, red, green, blue, and alpha. And so that is why it's 32. And that saves there. Okay, we'll go ahead and close that. Another thing we want to do is we want to have a tree bark texture that we can use, but we also want it to be seamless. So what I'm going to do is actually kind of mix these two tree barks together somewhat. So the first part I'm going to do is I have a logo here. I'm sure this belongs to somebody, and we're going to, let's just say, appropriate portions of both of these images and put them together. Again, this detail is going to be so small on our tree that we're not really, too worried about this specific image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch this image out just to make it a square image. So I'm going to go to my pixels here, and I don't need that to be locked. And we're just going to say 1024 by 1024. Okay, that's going to make that square there. And again, we're not worried about this logo. What I'm actually going to do is that color that I was using there for the branch, I'm going to take this layer. I'm just going to hit Control J to duplicate that. And I'm going to adjust and desaturate. Okay, so again, not so worried about things here. I'll hit Control Shift N to create a new layer. I'm not really naming these layers just because what I'm going to be using this for. And I'm going to change my blending mode here. And sometimes I just like to go down through and find one that I like, kind of like how multiply looks. And I want to find something that's, ooh, that one's actually pretty good. I like overlay. I think we might use, let's use a mix of overlay and multiply. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'll set 1 to multiply and set it to 50%. And overlay, we'll just leave the way it is. So this will just darken it up a little bit. So this will be my main color for this. What I'm also going to do though is, so that I'm not just ripping off somebody's image, I'm going to take this one as well, copy, I'll paste that one in. I'll just make sure this fills up the whole area here. And we still have to make this seamless. So there's going to be so much done to this image that, you know, we're not so worried about somebody losing, you know, their photo or using something like that. Okay, so I'm turning those off for a second. I want to desaturate this layer as well. So image, adjust, desaturate, and I'll probably make this like 50%. Okay, so we've got this bark and the other bark, and when we put this all together, we're really not even going to recognize the other person's work that they had there. They had very nice photos. I'm glad they took them. All right, so let's see. Actually, I think I might not even want this multiply here now. Since I put this other image on here, which is a little bit darker, it's kind of, now this is getting a little, just a little too dark. So I'm just going to go ahead and toss that one. And then I'm going to merge everything together here. So I'm selecting the entire thing. So selecting one, holding shift, selecting the other. We can go ahead and toss this background one here. That one's not doing anything either. So we'll select those and we'll hit Control Shift E. It's going to merge them together. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a selection. I'm going to hit Control J. That's only duplicating that selection. What that does is it removes anything that might have been outside of that image from scaling things. And maybe there was nothing, but just so I don't have to worry about that. Now, I made this image 1024 by 1024. So there's going to be a filter that I use under Other, Offset. And I want to offset this by about 50%, which would be 512 by 512 if I had a 1024 by 1024 image. Now what that does is it shows us these seams that we have here. Okay, I don't want to have those seams. The one down the middle is not quite so bad, but I want to get rid of any seams. So the way we do that is we are going to use our clone stamp. So I'm going to set this just kind of big. I do not want it to be aligned. I'm going to hold the Alt key and select, you know, somewhere about right here. And I can just kind of go down here and start sampling different areas. And we'll come down here and get something. And I'm just painting over that seam. And then I'm going to paint over the one here. So I'm just selecting somewhere, starting on one side, starting to paint. And I'm just sampling and painting some of this over. And I'm not trying to go too far over because then that'll give me a seam the other direction. Now, if I run my filter again, filter, offset, it's going to offset it again. And ideally here, I shouldn't see any seams, and I don't. So that means that this texture is now seamless. So we can save that now. So we'll do a save as. I don't need an alpha channel for this one. I don't really care to save the Photoshop file here. So I'll just do a JPEG for this one because there's no transparency, so I can use a lossy format. And we have our tree bark. We'll just call this tiled tree bark. All right. And might as well save that at the best quality we can get out of it. And we'll close that. We did just save that, right? Let me make sure. Oh, we didn't save the Photoshop file. That's what it's asking. And I don't need to save that. Don't need that tree bark anymore. So now what I'm going to do is I kind of wanted to do a tree with leaves, but I wanted to use a little bit more color. So I'm actually going to sample from these to create 3 different leaf colors. So that way they're not all the same basic boring green. So kind of like we did the other one, I need to invert part of this image. So I'm going to duplicate this. And now I will invert. So image, adjust, invert. Okay, that's going to make this area black. And now I'll desaturate. And with my levels, I'll just adjust this. And I want this center part to be white. And I want to get rid of as much as that glow around there as possible. So really what I want to see is just black and white between the two of these. And so just kind of bring these together. Now I'm losing some of the vein here that's in the leaf. I want to make sure I have that. So I can just kind of adjust this over. And maybe a little bit further. That's pretty close. I'm not that worried about that. All right. So that's going to be my alpha channel for this. But before I do that, I want to crop this image to where this bottom part is right at the very bottom of this image. So I'm just going to bring out my rulers. And I kind of want to get this as close as I can get it on each side. I always like to leave just a little bit though. But this bottom part, it's going to get cut off right there. So I'll do my selection here. And I'll just do image crop. And now I'm going to go image size. And I'm going to set this to, again, a power of 2 number, which is more important for games than anything else, but just out of habit. So you could leave it the size that it is, that would be fine. I'm going to just make it 512 by 512. Okay, so it just makes our leaf look like that. Okay, I'm going to select the entire leaf here, hit Control C, and again I'll go to my channels. I'm going to create a new channel. It's going to auto name it to alpha. I'll select the alpha there. It auto selects it. Control V, that pastes in the leaf there. And let's make sure we go back to RGB. And I can go ahead and get rid of this here. Now I'm going to create 3 leaves. One red, one kind of orange, one kind of yellow. So to do that, I'm going to desaturate this image. So I'm just going to duplicate Control J and delete that background layer. And then I'm going to use my fill tool. And I'm going to desaturate this leaf. So image. And we'll do adjust, desaturate. And then I'll create a new layer. Control Shift N. I'm going to go here and sample the red from here. You know what? Maybe I'll get some of the darker red and some of the lighter red. That might be a little too light. That's good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the gradient tool, which would be under the paint bucket here. I'll set this to my first option here. And we're going to just go out from our center. So I'm just going to radial kind of out to the edges. Let's invert that. So we'll do the reverse. Okay, so what that'll do is it's going to take that color. I'm going to set this here to, let's see what we like. That's not too bad. Kind of like the way that looks. Overlay again. I also don't want to have this white. This is going to give me a white edge around everything. So what I'm going to do is select color range. I'll select the white area there. Let's turn our fuzziness all the way up. And I'm going to create a new layer. Control-Shift-N. And I'm going to do basically the same radial that I did before, kind of out from here to the edge. Oops. Let's see. Let me turn that off for a second. Oh, you know what? My color here is no longer. Let me just reset my layer here to normal. I accidentally color picked there to the white. Okay, so I'll go back to this layer, turn that off. So I'm going to get this radial pattern that's going to be just the color of the background here. And then this one is going to be on overlay. And so now I won't get a white border around here. I'm going to get a color that closely matches my leaf. So overlay may not work because it's going to make that a little too red. Let's see if I can get another one that's not so... kind of like that one. Okay, I'm going to try something else here. I'm going to take my layer here. I'm going to drag it up to the top. And I'm actually going to blend on it. We'll see how that looks. See, okay, I like that a little bit better because now I'm getting the color that I want there. This is overlaying this. And then this is making sure that my, you know what, let's do a, use our magic wand tool. We'll select our transparent area here. So actually, I don't need the magic wand. I can just say select, load selection based off of transparency. I'm going to take my leaf here. And my selection is actually selecting this outer part. I want to invert my selection. So I'm going to turn my leaf back on here. I'm going to hit Control J. So that way I get rid of that white border there, that white background. All right. Now we'll turn our colors back on there. And that's going to be a little bit better. So that's going to give us, we won't be able to see that kind of light edge around there. It should cut that off. We can always make this darker if we have to, but that should be okay. That should be, yeah, that should be good. So I'm going to merge this all together. And I'll do File, Save As, and this is going to be a Targa again because we have that alpha channel. We'll call this Leaf Red. So I'm going to do leaf underscore red, 32 bits, and OK. Now what I'm going to do is I'll just go up and I'll do adjust hue saturation. And I'll adjust this to kind of an orange color. I like that. File, Save As, Targa, and this will be Leaf Orange, 32 bits, and finally Image Adjust Hue Saturation. Go to the right here and get a kind of yellow color. I'll just kind of adjust a little bit, make it a little darker. And that's getting a little on the green side. Maybe, yeah, a little green. That's good. And that'll be my yellow. That'll be my Targa. Yellow. All right, and save. And that should do it as far as setting up our textures and our setting up our branches. So that's going to conclude this video. Stay tuned for the next video where we are actually going to go in and start making the tree and putting all of this together. So we'll see you in the next video. I just want to say thanks for watching, and please like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. All right, thanks for watching.